The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 160. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of courageous women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Want to learn how you can change your inner beliefs and attitudes? Download a free copy of the ebook by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show. She is a transformational life coach, and she's here today to share her story on self-confidence and her tips on, how we can have self-confidence in our own lives. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Karen Ohm. Karen, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hi, Sheena. Great. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I know you've had so many incredible women on the Tao of Self-Confidence, so I'm so honored to be here speaking with you today. So as you told your audience, my name is actually Karen Otani Morrow, but I'm also known as Karen Ohm. After my divorce, I had a little bit of an identity crisis, because I no longer felt like Karen Otani, but I was also no longer, obviously, Karen Morrow. And I realized when I put the initials of my last name together, I was like, oh my gosh, look at that, I'm Karen Ohm. And it was so perfect because it so strongly reflects who I am today and where my journey has taken me. 3.5 years ago, I was living in Wisconsin in a marriage where my ex-husband and I were both so unhappy. We were living separate lives, and when we were together, we argued constantly. I had married somebody who was very traditional, which is exactly what I wanted at the time. But with that also comes someone who took on a wife to join him on his journey. He didn't exactly want to be on mine. I was seeking a partner, and to him, he took on a rebellious wife, so to speak. So I often felt like I was living alone in a country club prison. And after 12 years of marriage, I was too afraid to leave, too afraid to start my life over again. And I didn't understand what happened to me. I was paralyzed in fear. But today, I'm divorced and happier than I've ever been in my life because I'm living a life that is authentically me. I love and accept my ex-husband for who he is. We're both just different people. I'm back in my hometown now in New York City, and I left a 20-year career in public relations and special events, and I'm now a professional relationship and self-love coach. I felt it was my calling to get my certification after I had gained so much insight, experience, and knowledge through that marriage, my divorce, and dating again. That is now my passion to help other people to move them past their fears and help them create a life they love. And oh my gosh, Sheena, if you would have asked me 4 years ago, or told me that 4 years ago that I would be living in New York on a podcast talking to women about self-confidence, I would have said that you were out of your mind. There was no way. I hate being up front and center. But I'm going to be totally honest with your listeners right now. This is the first interview I've ever done. And if you would even ask me probably like 2 months ago, I probably would have said no. But I feel so strongly that I have a message to share with someone out there that might be coming from where I was. And my coming forward to help her means more to me than any fears that I may have. Because I know listening to other women's story when I was afraid gave me the strength that I needed. So I also share this because so many times we see accomplished, confident women out there and think that can't be me. It feels so daunting. It's too far to reach that goal. And I'm here to tell you, you are me. I was right where you were not too long ago. And if I can do it, you can do it too.
Awesome. And, thanks for sharing that. And for someone who's doing their first interview, it doesn't seem like it. So, you're doing a phenomenal job. And, thanks for sharing that. And Karen, what's your cultural background?
My cultural background is both my parents came from Tokyo, Japan. And soon after they were married, they came to New York City. And 11 years later, I was born.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
My favorite self-confidence quote is a quote that carried me much through the earlier part of my journey, through my divorce and my self-discovery, was, I hope you live a life you're proud of. And if you find you're not, I hope you find the strength to start all over again, by F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I love that because a lot of people don't think they can start from scratch, start all over again when, I feel like every day is a new beginning if you allow it, right? So.
Right. Oh,
yeah, so that's a great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
My definition of self-confidence is to be authentically you. And by that I mean not wearing any masks so people will like you or building any walls around you to protect yourself. It's not acting like you're better than someone or feeling like you're less than anyone. True self-confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to prove anything. It's showing the world who you truly are, your weaknesses, your strengths, because you love and accept yourself exactly as you are. And because you love yourself and you're confident in yourself, you are able to love and respect others in the same way. It's often our egos that pit us against one another. And when you have a strong foundation of self-love and self-confidence, it really opens up the doorway to better relationships with yourself and others.
I love the definition. And, I love that you mentioned showing the world who you truly are, because I know a lot of us, we still have these masks that we put on because we're so afraid to show who we really are. And sometimes when we're more, authentic, that's when people will be drawn to us because, there's no bullshit. You show the person who you truly are. If you have a bad day, you have a bad day. If you're, on top of the world, you're on top of the world. But, not every day will always be the same. So great definition. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I thought I couldn't be happy without a partner. And that when I was in a relationship, they were responsible for my happiness. That I needed a partner to make me complete. And I think that movies and society raise women to look for that Prince Charming, the one. Then we have friends and family asking you, who are you dating? When are you going to get married? What's wrong with that guy? He's great. What are you looking for? What are you waiting for? Why are you still single? And I was just like, oh my gosh. Today I feel like those questions do so much more harm to women because we're ashamed of being single. But now I see myself as being single as my non-dependence on someone else to make me happy and whole. I am happy and whole and complete within myself. And I have a life that I absolutely love. And this is different than someone who has closed their heart off to love because they feel that they tried so many times and that they've given up on love because they're afraid of getting hurt. So they wear their independence like a shield. What they don't realize that it's their unhealed heart that's keeping them single. And that if they remove the fear, they could open up the door to allowing love back into their lives again. And this is what I actually call being wholeheartedly single, which means you are whole and complete within yourself. And we love our lives and we love our brothers too. But so many men and women today are searching for partners to fill voids within us. And yes, men do it too. But this need to be in a relationship to feel whole and not empty inside is what causes us to rush into a relationship with partners that aren't suitable for us because we're looking for someone to fill that void. So we fall for the first person that says all the right things to us because it fills up all those empty, dark spaces within us. And then a few months or few years later, we realize we're in a relationship that's not healthy for us. But it's not only because our partner's not healthy, it's also because we are unhealthy too. If as a society we were taught to feel whole and love within ourselves first, then look for a partner, we would make better choices and have healthier relationships. Then our goal would be to seek a successful relationship with a healthy partner that complements us rather than completes us.
Thanks for sharing that. And that's such an important topic because especially like with Asian women, we've been ingrained to just find a husband, because that's what life should be. You just find a husband and that's it. That's life, right? That's success. Right. That's confidence for women. And, women end up in these relationships that don't serve them. They might get beaten up or they're maltreated and, it's not the way to live. So I'm glad you're able to share this with us. And, what was that point in your life when you realized, you were more than enough, right? You were more than enough to love yourself, to find the right partner in your life, or to just be wholeheartedly single.
I would say that the aha moment was the day Steve Jobs died. I was still married and living in Milwaukee, and all these news reports were coming in on my computer at work. And then there was this one quote by him that popped up, and it just struck me. And it said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living the result of other people's thinking. And don't let the noise of other people's opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary." And I sat there and a huge revelation came over me that I had indeed been living someone else's life for so long. And I wanted to start living my life again, one that reflected me and my hopes and dreams, that I deserved a life too, and to be who I am, and to have a partner that supported that.
Thanks for sharing that. And, I'm glad you're able to have that realization that, you were living someone else's life. You were filling other people's needs because, as women, especially Asian women, we've been taught to just serve others and not put ourselves first, right?
Exactly.
Which ends up not knowing who we truly are, not having that identity, not knowing how to make the right decisions, or not even the right decisions, just making a decision in general, right? And, after that huge realization, what's your life been like now?
My life now after that decision has been amazing. Today I'm living a life that is authentically me. I have a wonderful community of beautiful, supportive friends. I attend workshops and lectures regularly. I love going to yoga, walking in nature, going to museums and cafe. I have a career and a business that is my absolute passion. I love helping to move people from fear to a happy, more meaningful life. And I can't think of a life that's more fulfilling and rewarding than that. I also now know that I'm not able to change anyone, just that they have no right to change you. I used to blame partners in the past for hurting me. Now I know it's my choice to stay. I know my self-worth and I can honor myself by walking away. but still accepting them for who they are and where they are in their journey and not becoming bitter or angry for it. I also realized, going after my divorce, when I started dating again, that there was a lot of dating and relationship advice out there making us victims, which keeps us small and doesn't serve us well. And I think that may be reinforcing and influencing women to close their hearts. And I would rather be influenced by love than by hate, by what unites us rather than divides us. And I also saw a lot of dating advice out there, and we're all familiar with it, on how to attract and keep a partner, as if partners are these men or women, if you're a guy listening to this, are other species and not human beings with soul. And I realized if you're going to play a game to meet that partner, your relationship is going to be a game. But if I wanted a healthy, emotionally mature relationship, then I had to be healthy and emotionally mature myself as a partner to attract that kind of partner. That screaming and crying and shutting down is not going to get me a partner to listen to me, but trying to create understanding and work towards a mutual goal will. Today, I'm able to recognize that men that are heart and soul centered and ego centered. And during my divorce, I joined a divorce support group. And it was within that group that I met so many wonderful guys who are still my friends today, who were devastated by the women they loved. And today they're in happy, healthy relationships, and I'm so happy for them. And it really made me open my eyes that it's not just men, but that there are just heart-centered people versus ego-centered people out there. And that theory still holds true today. I want to start writing articles and books about all this and create my own workshops. And I just feel my life is so abundantly fulfilled today, and it's still unfolding in so many amazing and beautiful ways. I'm really excited about what the future will bring.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I'm glad you're able to, you're able to live the life that you want and live from a heart-centered life versus from, what the media tells us, I mean, I still have my grandma bugging me when I'm going to get married. So, it doesn't end, but at least now we're aware, like, we don't have to live like that. If they want to ask, that's fine. But, it's your decision whether you want to get married for the right reasons or the wrong reasons. So, thanks for sharing that. And Karen, if our listeners, they may be in their own journey of self-confidence, what would be that one tip you would give to them?
I guess I first want them to know that if they're here listening to this podcast because they want to make a change in their life, that in itself is huge. Like, thank God for people like you, Sheena, that allow us this platform to connect with one another. I want to tell them that everything in their life has happened to them to lead them to this point, that everything that happens in our life happens for us, not to us. And it's through our healing that we grow. And as the poet Rumi says, the wound is the place where light enters you. And so often the most difficult thing that has happened in our life becomes our greatest lesson and gift. And there's a bittersweet beauty to that. But if we don't heal our wounds, they can manifest themselves in ugly ways by numbing through partying, excessive dating, shopping, working late hours, just keeping yourself busy all the time, anything to take away the pain. We run away, we aren't ourselves. And that is not the true self. And if you've been living this way for a long time, you may not even realize it. You'll know when you're not healed when you wind up in that next bad relationship because you're making decisions with an impairment. Or when that new partner triggers you easily and you blame them for opening up all those unhealed wounds. Know that the relationships are assignments, mirroring back to us unhealed parts of ourselves. And when you are healed and your vessels of self-confidence and self-love are full, those things won't bother you anymore. But I'll be honest, developing self-confidence and self-love doesn't happen overnight. You have to have an open mind to where you're being guided. And I'll tell you, all the self-help books and advice won't help you unless you're ready to do the work and show up for yourself every day. And that in itself is an act of self-confidence and self-love. It takes looking into all the dark parts of yourself and understanding the lesson and forgiving yourself and others and letting go. And I know that some of your listeners may be so hurt and angry right now, but what they don't realize is that you're building a shrine to someone who has hurt you. And that's not punishing them, it's hurting you. You deserve to be happy, and you owe it to yourself and to your next relationship to release that past. So take the time that you need to heal, but know that it's important to release and forgive. Your happiness and letting go and moving on, so to speak, is your best revenge. So do what you need. Write it out, cry it out, just get it out and release what is no longer serving you into the past so that you can start creating a life that you love and start focusing on what you do want in a partner rather than what you don't want. When we shine the light on our fears, they have nowhere to hide. Eventually the pain will feel less and less, and you'll feel lighter and lighter inside. It gets to the point that you're feeling so great that whenever something does go wrong now, you're going to want to release it because you know what feeling great is like, and you won't want to feel that darkness again. It got to a point on my journey where I felt like I needed to be this perfect spiritual being, though. But I learned that it's not that we're perfect. We're going to come up with stuff in our head just when you think you got this. The universe will send you someone or some situation that will take you out again. And I've learned now that we just bounce back faster. You won't hold on to the pain or let it manifest itself in ugly ways. I've also learned that every time that's happened, it wasn't to take me out. It was to show me something new. And I've always gained a new level of awareness when I came out on the other side, a new shift in perception. And I remember the first time I learned that from my spiritual teacher, Gabby Bernstein. She's best-selling author of May Cause Miracles, that a miracle is a shift in perception. I was like, what? I don't want a shift in perception. I want miracles. But she was so right. When you shift your perception of the world, everything looks and feels different. The world is beautiful and the people in it. And it's through that shift in perception that amazing things start to happen in my life, and it will happen in yours. And that these lessons are exactly what I needed to become the person that I wanted to be. And this is why a lesson is repeated until we learn to shift our perception of it. And I definitely did not get here alone. I had a lot of wonderful friends who supported me on this path. I read a lot of books and took dozens of workshops where I made even more friends who supported me on this journey, even to this day. So make sure to reach out to those resources because they are out there waiting for you. And follow where your intuition is guiding you. And try not to get discouraged on this journey because a year from now, you'll be so glad you didn't give up. And I would love to tell your listeners just to take a moment to vision the person that they want to be. See her, feel her. Who is she? What choices does she make? How does she sound, act, and behave? And I want you to take a moment to think about that. And now I want you to step into her. How does that feel to be her? You can be that person because you are that person. She is inside of you. But so often we think the goal is too far to achieve. But just by taking small steps every day in that direction, you can and will get there. We have the ability to do anything we want. But what stops us so often is our ego, our gremlins that tell us that we're not good enough, smart enough, and that we can't do this. And you don't deserve this, or places blame on other people and keeps us stuck in not taking responsibility for ourselves. You need to be the victor, not the victim of your circumstances, and quiet those fears, especially ones disguised as practicality. Meditation and yoga are excellent practices to quiet the chatter in your mind. I often tell people that the relentless chatter tightens up our mind like a rubber band ball. Yoga and meditation help release that grip on your mind, and it centers you so you can clear your mind, and this allows your intuition to come through and to guide you. With practice, it will get stronger and clearer, and let go of the need to control and be open to where it's guiding you. And your path will unfold in miraculous ways, and always be grateful. Each and every one of us was born with a unique gift, a special light inside of us. And you may feel like your light is really small right now, but it's there. You've just been neglecting it. And I promise you, if you connect with it every day, it will grow bigger and brighter. And that will be your beautiful light that can only be fulfilled by you in this world, for you to share in this world. And the world really needs that more than ever now.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing those amazing tips. I'm sure our listeners will love that. And Karen, if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
I'm still developing and working on my website, but listeners can find me on my public Facebook page where I share daily insights and help keep you on your path. And you can either do a search looking for Karen Ohm, O-M, or it's www.facebook.com/Karen.Ohm30.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Karen, you can also head on over to thetowofselfconfidence.com and search for Karen's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I really just want to thank Karen for taking the time to share her story and journey with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on and letting me share everything that I've learned on my journey with them. And I wish them all the best of luck, and I'm sending them lots of love and prayers.
Awesome. It was an honor having you on. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit thetowofselfconfidence.com for links to everything we chatted about today, as well as killer resources, gifts, and so much more. Subscribe to The Tao of Self-Confidence on iTunes or Stitcher to hear more stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence.